So, welcome to class prep where we're going to be talking about technology integration. And we like to talk about technology integration that there are four main reasons when you should use technology for your classroom. And if you don't meet one of these reasons, then you really shouldn't be using the technology. So we say the four ways that you can talk about it is if the technology is going to make teaching and or learning more effective, meaning that that's going to meet the standards or learning goals more successfully than if you did not use technology. Um, the next one is efficiency, which is really going to save you time and labor, maybe even cost and resources. We'll talk about some examples in just a minute. The next one being enhancement. So it provides some kind of an opportunity that you wouldn't otherwise have. And lastly, engagement, meaning that the students are going to be really motivated because you've offered some kind of active learning experience or something that they're really interested in. So I'm going to give a couple of different examples of each of these. So moving on to the first one, which is effectiveness. And again, we're talking about the quality. And this piece right here is really important to help improve student comprehension. So your students should understand the topic better because you've used technology. So we have a couple of different examples. So some of these examples might be, for instance, timeline tools. So I have one example here that I want to share with you. This is something that someone created to talk about the Tower of London in 3D. So you can explore the different pieces. You can look at different times as you go on. And so here is a time when the tower was besieged. And so you can click on it. It provides a little bit of information. And you can also even go through it this way as well. And when there's a find out more, you can click on it, and in this particular example, it's taking you to Wikipedia. So you can either design something like this for your students, or your students can design something like this to help improve their understanding or knowledge. The next one, which is one of my favorites, is concept maps. So there's Inspiration, Kidspiration, and Poplet. These are, excuse the spelling errors there, but so what happens here is you're actually visually building something that helps students understand, or students can build these in Inspiration as well. So this one shows the 6 kingdoms of biology. So you can see all the different pieces and all the key terms and even special characteristics of it. So what happens with animals versus what happens with fungi. So you can see all the different pieces of it. That was a science example. This one's an English language arts example where someone took The Outsiders and actually put in all of the different themes that were going on there. So they did a literary analysis of that particular book. There are even little notes that you can put in here as well as quotes to kind of talk about the different pieces as you're going through it. Here's another example of a character analysis web that a student did for Macbeth. So you can see all the different pieces and relationship to all those different pieces. And here's another example of a physical science example about acids and bases so that you can see almost like from a Venn diagram what it looks like on the actual scale, what are the different characteristics of that. And this is the last example I wanted to share with you. So the real power of the concept map from Inspiration and Kidspiration is you can set it up in an outline format like this, or you can start it in a graphical format like this, and you can press a button, and what happens is it provides you with an outline. So this is really great for students to start with something like this, to say, all right, here are all the different ideas, and then you'll press a button, and all of a sudden it'll be in the outline format here. So this helps students actually establish their essays. So that's why we're talking about the effective piece, because visually students can build something and understand it, and then it helps translate it into writing. So that was the concept map. The next one is a math-specific example, and there are lots of different programs that are specific to different subject areas to help students understand concepts. This one is called GeoGebra, and it's a free version. So I have the examples right here. You can kind of look through some of these different ones, but they walk you through some different activities, and the reason is that students actually are able to complete different pieces and understand it a little bit better. So like here's another one for velocity versus time versus acceleration. So the cool part is you can actually move different pieces up and down. Um, and I think this one should even let me move. So what happens when you move different points? What does that look like when we're talking about position, velocity versus time? Um, so different parts that you can move around. Anyway, so anytime that you can allow students to visually see something, it's going to be more fantastic. The next one I want to show you is an instructional video. So this is on wimp.com. And this is really great because it shows you the population and how population has changed over time. So you can see the human population is at the top and where population is going. So this was in the 1300s. And anyway, so I'm just going to let it play for a second so you can kind of see different things are popping up. And all of a sudden the human population is starting to dramatically increase. And you can see in what regions of the world it's increasing. So now the United States is finally starting to pick up as we're getting into the 1900s. So we'll go to the end here so that you can see where we're expecting massive amounts of the human population, the density of human population grows to quite a bit and where it's going to be leveling off. All right. So again, great visualizations really help with people's understandings. This other one that I'm not going to show you, but I love showing it in class, is WACO's 50 States and Their Capitals. So it has a song that goes along with it. And I learned this in the 4th grade, and I can still remember all the states in alphabetical order, as well as all the state capitals. So that's obviously effective if it's lasted me so long. Putting something with a song, and I bet everybody has a song that they remember something from elementary school or even high school. Like I remember there was a mole. A mole is a unit, or have you heard? It's 6 times 10 to the 23rd. So different like little memory tactics that help you with that. The next one is efficiency, and this is really how we speed up the learning process. So one of the easiest examples of this would be instead of having students hand write an essay, asking them to type it. Then this is obviously a really fantastic use of technology because students can then go back and edit their work later on. And some people have talked about with Google Drive as well, teachers can quickly provide feedback on writing, and students can see that feedback live or real time or very quickly. So all of those pieces. The learning management systems where we can have you submit assignments, share links, all of these things are really great ways to speed up the efficiency of learning, but also of teaching. So instead of having your students give you their assignments and you physically enter it into a grade book that you have to carry around with you at all times, this is fantastic because it's all in one place and your parents can see updates or students can see updates of where they're currently at. So all these things make teaching a lot more efficient. Some of the other resource management tools that I want to share with you. So Symbaloo is one of these, and Symbaloo, this is one of the badges that you can have. You create basically these little tiles. It's fantastic for students of all ages because you don't want them to have to type in URLs. That you want to stop that as much as possible. But so here are popular learning ones. So I just click on the periodic table of elements if that's something that I go to commonly. And so here's one that I actually, that one's a lesson plan. That's not a great link. But all of these different activities are probably things that were happening in a class. This one was simple machines. So you can go through simple machines and look at all the different simple machine pieces. So it should link to an actual URL as well. So here's another popular web mix. So here is like elementary math that you can go to, elementary STEM. The cool part is you can actually take one of these and add a web mix to your own Symbaloo account, so you don't have to create all these different little tiles. But creating a tile is really simple. You just click on it. To create a tile, you just type in here. So you can do that. You have IU, and it even comes up with a little icon that you can use. Or you can select one of these and press save, and then it should create a little tile here that has IU. And I can put names underneath it, but when I click on here, it'll automatically take me to the IU website. So this can help save time. One of the other examples, many of you have played with Kahoot before, and quizzes was the other example here. So these are all quiz functions for your students. Quizzes is also great. Many more people haven't used this, but so you can actually find games that people have played, select it, and then have your students go through it. These are all like the quiz questions. And the cool part about this is it has little memes once you answer the questions correct or incorrect. And this saves time for you as a teacher because a lot of these are being done for you. So then when you get it right, it gives you a certain number of points and a cute little meme, and then you go on to the next one and see where you are as compared to other people. Anyway, so there are 20 questions, but we're not going to do all of these. So you can see those different pieces. That's more of an individualized thing. Another one for note-taking tool. A lot of people use OneNote. You could use Box accounts as well as Google to keep track of all of your notes. This is one of my favorite, which is actually, this is my favorite because I can take little clips of different pieces. So here's an example here. I just have to click on, let me show you this. I just have to, once I find a website that I like, okay, so here's an article maybe that I'm reading or that I'm interested in, I can click up here on Evernote and I can save a clip of an article, of a simplified version of an article. So this is the simplified version. It doesn't have all the advertisements, which is great. Or I can bookmark this for later, or I can take a screenshot of it too and just take the pieces that I want. Like let's say I want that picture there. And then it automatically saves it in my Evernote file. So then when I go back to my Evernote, it would show that I've collected it right here, and I can organize it based on folders and even do it based on tabs. So there's the web clipper as well that you can even have across all of your documents, so you could have it on your phone as well. So this is one way that all of your information is saved in the same place. The next one I want to talk about is enhancement, which means an opportunity to do something that would have previously been impossible or really difficult to do without technology. So it's some kind of enrichment activity. So in this particular example, this one here is experiencing what it was like during the Haitian earthquake, which was a few years ago. So you actually make different choices. So here you start your experience. I'm just going to take you through a tour so I don't have to click through it. And then it provides you with the perspective of what do you want to do. You can experience it as a survivor, as a journalist, or an aid worker. We clicked to survivor.
This was your neighborhood. This was your home, your fridge, your stove, your clothes, your personal documents, your pictures. Everything you own lies under several tons of broken concrete. This is your neighbor Magali. Magali was outside hanging laundry to dry. When the earthquake struck, her 3 children were inside, watching television. You have a nasty gash on your leg. You've bandaged it with a torn rag. You have not eaten. You are thirsty, and there is nothing but the clothes on your back to protect you from the blastering heat of the sun. What would you do?
So then it'll ask you to make a choice or make a decision. And based on your choices and decisions, so this one is try to
The
dig
weight
rubber
of the
through your
concrete
valuables.
chunks are too heavy for you to move with your bare hands. Your tools are rudimentary, and besides, whatever you had is probably lost.
So it'll tell you to make different choices and decisions, and then it'll give you different perspectives that you can go through as well. We're not going to go through all those different ones, but you can see how that is very impactful and where students are making decisions and seeing real live video. The next example was Skype lesson plans. So some of you may have done mystery Skypes before, where you connect with another class and you try and guess where the other group is from by asking questions back and forth, which is kind of fun. There are also all these virtual field trips that you can take as well. Most of them are free. I think some cost money, but allows you to travel. Like this one, you get to go to India and travel back in time. So we just saw, big population burst there. So that might be really interesting to look at that. So you can go through here and actually connect with a lot of different museums and really cool things that you can connect with and explore through that. The last example on here is a frog dissection, and this is an app, so you can actually open up a frog and dissect him, and then you don't have to worry about actually getting frogs to dissect, which is great too. Okay, so that one was the enhancement. And then the last one is engagement. So it increases student motivation and engagement in some way, shape, or form. So there are lots of different ways that you can do this. There are tons of different games that are interesting for students to play. This was the one that I wanted to share. It's called iCivics. And this one is about Immigration Nation. And it's also available on the iPad too. To try and figure out what does it take.
Welcome to Immigration Bay. This is the first stop for people wishing to enter the United States. See the 5 harbors behind me? Each one accepts a different kind of traveler. Will you help me guide everyone to the right harbor? This is my helper, Liberty Bell. This is my helper, Liberty. Would you like help learning how to play?
So we talked to the first one.
I was born in Alaska, but I'm terrified of moose. I've been living in moose-free Mexico, but it's time to face my fears. I'm ready to live in peace with the meese. Mooses? This harbor is for travelers who are already citizens because they were born in the United States. As citizens, they have almost anybody who was born in the United States is already a citizen, no matter what they're afraid of. It's moose, by the way. Nice work.
So anyway, that'll take you through it, and it's a little bit more interesting for that piece of it. The next one is emotional and physical involvement. Chatterpix, which we've all done before. There's also GoNoodle. If you haven't seen this one yet, we'll probably do this in class. But the cool part for this one is that this can also motivate and involve students in a lot of different pieces. There are different channels here that you can go to. So there are activities for brain exercise, or this one's Maximo. This one is like stretch and rejuvenate, kind of like yoga. There are indoor recess types of things that you can also do. Really fun, active things to get students moving. And every time that you complete one, you get one more point, and then you get to take your little character and kind of transmorgify them to the next monster. The last one that I wanted to share with you is really engaging movies. So this crash course is one of my favorites. If you haven't seen these before, they have so many awesome channels. So there's like the history of science, they do a video, statistics, they do a video, engineering, theater and drama, media literacy, sociology, computer science. So they have all these different crash course, amazing shows. And the reason why these are so cool is because they actually take you through and make it really super engaging. So for example, like what is statistics?
Wait, honey, can you look at this?
Hi, I'm Adrienne Hill, and this is Crash Course Statistics. Finals are this week, so you Google the question fast food consumption, and you find the results of a fast food survey. The first thing you might do is start asking questions that interest you. For example, you could ask, why do people eat fast food? Do people eat more fast food on the weekend than on weekdays? Does eating fast food stress me out?
There's also a Crash Course Kids too, so this is for more elementary, but they've got really great videos, and you can see just by the number of times that it's been watched that these are really fantastic videos to share with your students and very fun as well. There's also Brain Pop, if you haven't seen Brain Pop before. This one's really great because you can look at a lot of different areas. You can only watch one free one a day. So this is an example of a free one. This is about photosynthesis. So it'll have a little video. You can have other types of activities as well. So the video is pretty cute. It's usually with this little robot guy. but it has all the different activities that are directly related to photosynthesis.
Dear Tim and Moby, how do plants grow? From Nance1277. All living things need nourishment to grow, but plant food is different from people food.
So it provides a really great video, and then all of these different resources are associated with it. So this one in particular is all about photosynthesis, and it's about news articles that are associated with photosynthesis. And this cool part is that it actually adjusts based on your reading level. So based on the reading level, it changed what the print looked like, right? So what the words that they use. So for example, this place is not make-believe, it was here on Earth. It changes from, this is not the setting of a Dr. Seuss story or a science fiction novel, this place was Earth. And then you can even see how it changes depending on the grade level. So that would be a really great, this would in particular would be a really great example for effectiveness, because it allows you to address more students as well as efficiency, because again, you can reach more than one student at a time. So again, just to kind of go over the 4 areas, sorry, one more time, is when we talk about technology integration from now on, we want you to use these 4 terms to talk about why it's a good use of technology or why it's not. So you can say this particular tool is good because it increases the effectiveness of learning, and then describe how it does that, if that makes sense.